I've had the privilege of working with Habitat for 30 years now, 30 plus years, and the advantage that I have is I've been able to see the long-term impact on families. And a lot of times my wife and I will be in a restaurant or in a grocery store, and a person will say, "Hi, Doug," and I don't recognize them. And then they explain that you built our house, and I was just a little kid when you built our house over on such and such an address. And I really think Habitat is part of the pathway to stability. And more than housing, I think it provides a stable place for families to grow and develop. And that's very rewarding to provide that opportunity of stability.
The last home that we lived in got broken into, and someone just tore up the place. So the kids were kind of scared for a while, so I think it kind of helped them out a little bit when we did move to a better home and a safer home. And I feel that alone will help them because they don't have to feel scared or, to do things or even just go outside and sit on the porch. It's important for somebody to feel safe where they live at.
Before I lived in that house, I lived on First Street, and it's always been our neighbors, they always was violent, I guess you could say. And Samantha, she couldn't even go outside by herself. Now that we're around neighbors, she can go outside by herself, and the neighbors will look out for her if we're not watching her, and the neighbors are all friendly and everything.
We live by older people and a lady that I've been knowing, church lady. So anytime my kids are in the street when they shouldn't be, they're always yelling at them, "Hey, get out the street, get out the street." They're always looking after them. It feels good to have somebody to watch over your kids when you're not able to or when you can't, or, just the extra pair of eyes helps out a lot.
I've always said that we don't build homes, we build houses, and the family already has a home, and we've built a house where families can put their home. In the Lafayette school system where I'm from, one of the biggest issues is the migration of students from one school to another. Families, always being uprooted, and thus uprooting their children in their classroom. And so if we can stop that migration through building affordable housing, I think that's well worth it. And we're building with families who were paying more than 50% of their income on housing, and now they're paying 22% on housing. And so that frees up a lot of income to spend on other basic needs for the family.
I learned how to budget more, so that was good. What was important and what wasn't important. So it helped me to determine that some of the things I bought was not important. It was more of a wants than a needs. So yeah, that helped out a lot.
I was raised in a church that emphasized the importance of loving God with all your heart and mind and soul, the first commandment of Jesus. And I think that's important, but we seem to leave out the second greatest commandment, which is loving your neighbor as yourself. And we are a Christian ministry, and I love to see the churches come together to put their faith in action through that second commandment. Tithing is an Old Testament concept in which God has asked us to return 10% of what He has given to us. And so I think tithing is important because it helps us to, first of all, recognize the source of our resources. And second of all, it helps us to think globally. And, I've been on the receiving end of a tithe, and so I know the importance. I worked in Haiti for a couple of years after the earthquake, and that tithe money is so important for those projects in other countries, and I've experienced that firsthand. The mission of Habitat, I think, is to give witness to our faith, and we do that through building houses. We do that through nurturing families, and we build that through strengthening communities.